G'day, listeners. This episode is proudly brought to you by our sponsors, supshq.com.au. Use BWB15 at checkout to receive 15% off and direct shipping.
Welcome back to another episode of Bros with Brains here with your favorite co-hosts, me, myself, and I guess Ben's here too.
I show up sometimes.
Whenever he feels like it. What's been going on?
Mate, a lot up and down,
Same
busy, same shit, all over
Same
the shop. I really love the shop. Now, just coming to the back end of uni. So from this week, basically, it's been my exam prep. So the rest of the other after just do some programs and then cranking into study and lectures that I missed out on and getting everything up and running with that. We had some big news over the last few days. We sort of put some announcements on during the week. So this comes out Saturday. We put some announcements on Tuesday. Excuse me, I got a burp. We've got everything now booked for our trip to America. So it should be bloody.
Move your mic.
Oh.
Yeah, your fat neck is getting
my
cracked on it, and your off-season games, and we can't hear when you get too close and you turn into it.
Can you hear that now?
Yeah, you can hear it fine. It's when your skin actually hits the mic and it just goes all fuzzy and shit.
Does this work? Is that better?
Yeah. How many people have them and you see them hold the actual fucking thing and
no, that's still not working. The shirt's too tight.
Yeah, we'll put it on the collar. Put it on the inside of your jacket collar. It's fine.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. See, fucking, that's what I got to do. I deal with children.
There we go.
But yeah, how many people? Yeah, have you seen how many people hold it? Like it's like it defeats the fucking purpose. Just grab a microphone. grab a microphone if you're gonna do that. Don't hold the fucking one.
You got a lapel mic for the point of having the lapel.
Yeah, like fucking moron.
Supposed to make shit easier. So we got everything booked and sorted now for flights. So visa's been approved, passports rocked up, flights have been booked. So yeah, it's fucking. I don't know. It's one of those things where I was like, I kept expecting something to come up and get in the way, and I'm like, this will happen, and now it's like, nah, bro, this is actually like this is happening now. You've actually got to put something together and start getting ready to talk about it.
Have you got your accommodation sorted?
Yeah, it's all taken care of. Like they're all like taking care of that over there. So pretty much just the big part for us was to get there. So yeah, that's all sorted and taken care of. And we pretty much got basically spoke to Cav. We got sort of 2 days at the conference. We got 10 days there. So plus or minus flying travel time. I think it's like 20 hours one way, 26 hours back.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. It's funny because the flight time isn't necessarily that long. It's the layover time.
Yeah. Well, that was the lucky part. We managed to get only single stop off layovers. So
yeah, which is awesome.
Which is like fucking good. Some of the ones we looked at, it was like
traveling for like 30 plus hours.
Yeah, it was like 30 hours, 10-hour layover here. Like fair enough if you wanted to see like if you want to go to Chicago or you want to go to Los Angeles and actually have a look around for a bit, it's like 12-hour layovers or full 24-hour.
Yeah, so you can make it worth your while.
Yeah, you can always do something there, like go see something. But I was like, if I'm gonna do it like a trip and stop off in LA to go look at stuff, I'd rather just book the extra fucking day.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'd book. Yeah, exactly right. You just book the extra time and go. Fucking
we got some decent trips. And where we're staying, man, like it's in. I was lucky enough to look around to know where the kind of the venue is, and it's in the. America's quite weird in how they do their interstates and stuff like that because the Washington metropolitan area overlaps with the edge of Virginia. So it's like if the Gold Coast metropolitan area overlapped the New South Wales border, and it's like, but there was a major town right near it. So like the major what do they call it? It's not Alexandria. It's Wellington. It's like right next to the Washington metro area, comes across the river into Virginia, and you've got DC and the major DC metropolitan area, and all their interlooping fucking travel destinations. And literally just across the Jefferson Bridge, there is you're into Virginia, and then you've got like Arlington, you've got the Pentagon down here, you've got the Pentagon Cemetery there, you've got fucking all this other stuff that's going on. And I was speaking to Cav, and he's like, like, we'll try and arrange as much for you guys while you're over here to go see and do. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what you want to see. And I was like, look, I just realized where you're staying.
I want to go see TC Williams.
The dude lives in Virginia, and I was like, brother, I don't know if you know much about Australian sports history. We don't have much.
No, we've only been around for 200 years.
Our school sporting history is more excited by your sporting history, like school history. So I was telling him that, like, watching Remember the Titans is one of the first sporting movies that I ever watched that I wanted to get into coaching. And I was like, if there ever comes a point in time where, like, I can impact a large group of people the way you see Coach Boone and what's his name? What's the white guy coach name?
Yeah, he doesn't. No one cares about him.
Yeah, no one cares about him. Like, I was like, yeah, that there's such a big impacting movie in my sporting education. And he's like, oh yeah, I know the coaches there. We'll go down and have a look. And I was like, fucking, bro, what? Like, you can't just subtly say that and be like, oh, nothing, whatever.
Yeah, no, that's mad. That'd be fun.
So, yeah, he's gonna try and tee that up. Be like, we're just chatting today. And I was like, I'm not sure where the overlap in your timeframes of seasons are, because I know ours
with like they're like flipped.
Theirs is like just starting. So he said the NFL season will be like a month away by the time we're there, so it won't be much to see. But hopefully there's going to be some high school tune-up games or some college preseason games might be up and running. So he's like, yeah, we'll try and get you in to see some of those.
Yeah, that'd be mad.
Players, hopefully. See some facilities.
Like I told you, you're going to go watch the Prisoners versus the Guards.
Yeah. It's fucking.
Could you imagine? That would be that'd be so epic.
I know. I'd fucking pay to see it. So this is Woodbridge Penitentiary Prison, and this is Brisbane High.
Yeah, like that. Don't even worry about watching like NFL. Don't worry about the Super Bowl. We're gonna go watch the Prisoners versus the Guards.
Prisoners versus the Guards. Fucking. But yeah, no. So I'm like, because he's like, oh, you know the team they play after the last game, like yeah, Marshall. He's like, so it turns out they don't actually play in the real story of the Titans. They don't actually play Marshall in the final. It's some other like lesser known school.
Yeah.
But Marshall, the school that is CW Marshall, is again like a 20-minute drive away.
Yeah,
like,
right.
All these massive conferences and stuff like each state has, and they're all like so close to each other. Whereas like for us, we'd have to drive, a couple of hours to go to like other big name schools to play up here, because obviously like Queensland is such a big state. When we played our state championship, Rockhampton had to come down from Rockhampton to play us in Brisbane. So it was these guys are like fucking, state championships, whatever. They're all fucking right near each other. But yeah,
well, like Marshall's got a pretty good history too.
Well, no, so the Marshall High School. I got mixed up, and I was like, I think it was Marshall High School or Marshall University, the one that was in the plane crash.
It was University.
Yeah. But that's over in West Virginia.
Yeah, it's somewhere there. I know it's in Virginia. I just don't know where.
Yeah, I think it's further off.
Yeah. I don't know. My geography of America is not that great.
Yeah.
Because it's America.
But I was like, I was staying in the cab. I'm like, how much? I was like, I just want to see this shit. I was like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He's like, want to go to New York? I'm like, bro, by the time of what's in Washington, I was like, I don't even know if I have time. This is like,
I mean, if they give you the chance to go to New York, 100% go to New York.
Oh, 100% for sure. Like fucking without.
If you get it, no questions, just go.
Like the Washington side of things, I was like looking through you just look in that major metropolitan area where like in amongst Washington, you got like the White House, Washington Monument, the Smithsonian, you've got the Jefferson and the Lincoln Memorials, you've got the Lincoln Bridge, the Jefferson Bridge. There's like all their World War II, World War I museums, like memorials, like all this fucking sick stuff. And I'm like, I'd spend half the fucking trip just here, like just wanting to see this shit.
That's the problem as well. It's like depending on how long you go for, like how much can you squeeze in, but then it's like you don't want to be rushed either. It's
exactly. Yeah, I was saying, I was like, you guys, like, I don't know if it's as perceived over there, like how big American history can be over here. Like, you watch a few movies and you do a bit of research, and there's like
they teach fucking American history in high school here. They don't teach Australian history.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like if that doesn't tell you enough about it, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
Also, credit to our education system. Fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we're so knowledgeable on other people.
Yeah, like on American history and like
Americans study America, we study Americans.
Yeah, like fucking so stupid. But anyway.
Yeah, so I was just telling him how like excited I am to see that sort of shit. And he's just like, yeah, just put a list together, we'll see what we can tick off while you're here. I was like, the only thing is, I'm like, I'd need a month just to do the East Coast, let alone fucking anywhere else.
Yeah, you can spend ages on like one coast, that's for sure.
Yeah, you just go like between Washington, New York, and like Miami. You'd be there for that's a month. That's a month trip. So yeah, but no, it's good. It's all taken care of, all sorted. So now we start putting the presentation together and start talking about body composition and just sort of like our approach to coaching it. And just really kind of like the plan for me is kind of expand on I think the misconceptions and how easy it actually, how difficult we have to do it to coach body comp. It's like, so more so for me, like I made a point the other day on one of the YouTube episodes, is looking at where your client actually is and recognizing that body comp doesn't mean you're instantly a bodybuilder. You can just literally find the Gen Pop client and make a few changes and they change their body comp.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like comes back to that lifestyle stuff that we we're talking about. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to be a competitive bodybuilder, but you can still be a bodybuilder per se because it's a lifestyle.
Exactly. And obviously, the greater the degree of goal of body compositional change, the greater the amount of actions or sacrifice you have to make or consistencies you have to apply, things you have to tick over again. So,
well, the more you need to apply as a person.
Exactly. So that's kind of like the premise of the chat and how we go about it, and then just sort of like touching on things like behavior change and actually graduating people up the spectrum, if you will, rather than just being like, oh, let's just go straight to chicken and broccoli, 7 meals a day. Now you're shredded, and then wonder why people don't do it.
It's because it's fish and a rice cake, not chicken and broccoli these days.
8 o'clock, got fish and a rice cake. 9 o'clock, rice cake and a fish.
And a piece of fish and a rice cake. I actually had to send that to one of my clients because she asked for a prep diet, and I'm like, fish and a rice cake, and she didn't get it. So then I had to actually send the YouTube clip. I'm like, now you get it. Yeah, I'm like, now you get it.
Fuck you, Nelly.
Young, they don't get it, but it was funny.
Okay, fuck you, Nelly.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like if you don't know, like if anyone doesn't actually know that clip, YouTube, fish and a rice cake.
Yeah,
like,
you're not a bodybuilder if you don't know.
Yeah, like that's all you need to look at.
Fucking fish and a rice cake.
Fish and a rice cake.
Yeah, so fucking man, like we just got that all sorted. Now just got to finish off this last block of exams. Finish this semester, hold my 5.0 hopefully, and then I'm just gonna have a big between semester reflection, just kind of knuckle it down on like systems I can do better and things like getting way better at scheduling, way better at meal planning, get way better all sort of stuff. Because to kind of digress off that, we just finished this growth block, and even from this growth block at 20 kilos plus from prep, like I've already looked at things that I can improve on and be better with. And it's hard for me. I've been training in food and that sort of jazz. Like I'll get caught up in work because I love working, but then I'll get distracted by a meal, but then I'm distracted by cleaning. So then I'm distracted by that. Then I got to go back to work. And then you're like, suddenly I've got 2 or 3 meals that I've missed. Not so much missed, but
you
back and the spacing sort of catch up.
Try and get the calories back.
Yeah. So just being better with the structure of not starting the food later, but that means I've got to be up early to get my cardio and stuff done. So that's all ticked off and covered. Just those little things where the busier you get and the more you want to be successful, those little things start to add up that perhaps in previous times I was a bit more loose with. It just gets to a point now where we start knuckling down on those to really push what we're going to do in the next 6 months. So we're entering a hold phase now. Training's going well. Numbers are pretty good. Recovery's starting to dip, so I'll probably end that block pretty soon. And then we fucking get shredded before we go to America and hopefully not look like a fat piece of shit over there on stage. And look, guys, I can talk about body comp. I'm shredded.
Yeah. This is part of the journey. This is my growth phase.
This is my empowerment era.
Yeah. This is my off season and we're empowering the look.
I'm at one with myself right now.
And I'm going to tie up my t-shirt and make sure everyone can see my ass. I'm going to wear the tightest pants possible.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, 100%.
That's on stage as well.
Yeah.
I won't tuck the front and I'll just tuck in the back and make sure that it lines up my bum.
Yeah, 100%. We're going to show the goods.
Exactly. You can build these glutes for nothing.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, that's kind of where things are. It's good. It's in a good spot. It's had a few clients finish up, had some more clients coming on. We got a few. Well, everyone's fucking cramming prep. Like we did a posing workshop 2 weekends ago. No, last weekend, Saturday. And yeah, everyone fucking the girls are responding quite nicely. The lads are fucking like 2 of the boys have ab veins already. It's fucking stupid. And I was like, cool. We got a cheeky 17 weeks left. No worries.
Yeah.
So shouldn't be stressing too hard about landing those guys. Another good season to land everyone and kind of, show how we do it and what we do and how easy it actually can be if it's done properly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, you get to the beauty of having someone ready early is you just get to feed them into show, right? It's the best.
Yeah. Just grow and build mass in the deficit, right? Just build into the show.
Well, that's it, right? Just more drugs.
Tapering up the drugs and increase the food.
All the drugs. So,
how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Finally over this like chest infection sort of. I'm still struggling a little bit with a cough, like lagging cough and a little chesty, but mostly gone. Basically, went back into my first leg session and sent it. Did my upper session today and sent it. It was pretty good. So feeling good. Can't complain. Go to Dubai next week, which is nice. Totally, man. Honestly, luckily I checked when I was leaving because usually I take a morning flight. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm leaving on Tuesday morning. Nah, I'm leaving Monday night. I'm like, oh, lucky. That would have been awkward.
That is something I have to get fucking prepared for. I looked at the flight. It's going to trip me the fuck out. We leave at 10:30 our time in the morning. Fly for 20 hours.
But you land same day.
At 6:30 Tuesday their morning.
Yeah, same day.
What?
Yeah, it throws me off. It threw me off the first few times because it's like I'd leave at I'd leave at 6 a.m. and I'd get there at 1 p.m. same day. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Hold up.
It's not a 7-hour flight, it's a 14-hour flight, but then it's obviously the time difference. So
yeah,
I'll leave at 9:30 and get there at like 5 a.m., which is still pretty cool. Like I'm not mad about it.
I think the way back was a bigger trip for me. It looks like
because you lose a day.
Yeah, you lose a day plus it's a day travel. So like we leave the Thursday, which is the 10th there, but by the time we get back, it's technically the 12th.
Yeah, exactly.
There goes 48 hours.
Yeah, it's it throws you off because it's always cool when you leave Australia because most places you're going to you gain time, but then when you're coming back home you lose time and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. How many times in the past I've done that, like planned a trip or whatever, whether it be work related or like a holiday, and I've come back and I'm like, I'm coming back to work, so I'm gonna go to like my shift the next day or whatever it is, and realize I land the day of the shift, and I'm like, fuck. The last 3 trips that I've done, I'm pretty sure I've landed like and then the morning of, and then gone to like work that night. I'm like, fuck's sake.
Yeah, I'll get off the plane, have a nap, or go to a training.
Like I'll just set myself up. I'll put my washing on, get myself ready. I'll take the day, chill out, get myself back in the zone. And it's like you land at 10 a.m. and you're like, I've got work in 3 hours. Fuck. Every damn time. But yeah, short of that, man. Been feeling pretty good. Can't complain.
Voice.
Yeah, life's good. Body's feeling.
Get some modeling shots in. I see.
Which ones?
The golfing ones.
Oh, they're from ages ago. One of the guys for Mulligan, he's like, oh, I said to him because he sent me a whole stack of stuff. I'm like, we'll go get some content for you, and then they just sent me more free clothes. So I can't be mad. Yeah, he sent me like a golf bag. I've got free t-shirts. I'm like, this is mad. I'm gonna take that bag. I'm taking that bag to Dubai. So take a photo for them and be like, look, Mulligan's in Dubai, and then they send me more free stuff.
So when I land, I like the other stuff to be at my house ready to go. Thank you.
Literally, so when I got back from Bali, I had like 6 t-shirts and like fucking a hoodie and all this shit, and I'm like, fuck, bro, I had no idea what's going on.
Golf apparel must be where the cash is at. They're willing to throw that.
Well, because they add them to their orders because they're always like limited. They do limited edition runs, like what you guys do for Matter. So it's like they'll do X amount, and they sell out pretty quick. So they only do, I think, like 50 t-shirts or 60 t-shirts,
we got a fucking sick idea coming out soon.
Cool. Just put me on the list.
Oof.
Put me on the list.
We've done some digging and exploring into other brands where they get some things made up and done and whatnot. And,
yeah.
There's going to be some sick shirts coming out.
Oh, is this the stuff that we were talking about?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah.
It's going to be fucking dope.
Put me on the list.
Basically, versions of what I've already been wearing in training footage, but of ours, not someone else's.
Yeah, so tell Brooklyn to make sure she gets me one this time instead of like
10.
Yeah, like instead of like at the show, and it's like, thanks, bro. Like, here's your t-shirt. Yeah, I'm already wearing one. I'm not changing right now, so it's okay. Thanks. One
good
job.
shit. Good shit.
But anyway, Ben's rants now. Now, what's been going on this week? Who's pissed you off this week? Because it's always fun. People enjoy your ranting, and I just sit there and look pretty.
The fact that I've been approaching the gym being like, what are we ranting about this week?
Yeah, I got one of the questions is like, can you just stir Ben up and make him rant? And I'm like, I mean, his blood pressure's not the best, but I mean, we're sure, why not?
Look, we're gonna be draining some blood soon anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to up your dose of telmisartan, bro. The way we're going, fucking hell.
Oh shit! Actually,
throw a fucking ACE inhibitor in there as well. Just send it.
Just send it. See what happens.
Anyway,
we'll just add some beta blockers before I go overseas, so I don't get anxious either.
Legit.
Shout out to Pete as well. Actually, big fella competed. One of Revive's strongest clients. He trains out of Powerhouse. He competed at the Natural Nationals, I believe.
Sure.
I was looking over some of his posing and stuff at the gym this last week before he competed. So not bad for fucking over 50.
Yeah,
natural
nice.
lad, placed in his division. So yeah, he's an avid listener. So congrats, mate. Well done.
Nice.
Seeing a rant on this week. It wasn't initially going to be a rant, but I think it's probably going to turn into a rant.
It's always going to be a rant. Let's be real. It's a topic of discussion passionately.
Yeah, exactly right. My blood pressure rises with the passion of the topic, so it's a rant.
So we're 180 over 90 at the moment, and climbing.
So one of the things I'm noticing is it's going to sound like it's negative to people being in the gym and all sort of shit. It's not. It's not in a way like, hey, don't come to the gym or anything like that. I've just noticed this like new trend where I think it's come a lot with the social influence bodybuilders, like as in like your Bumsteads and stuff, where they've got a certain look or appeal, the way they do things. Now, I've been training for off and on different things, different stuff, 10, 15 years. Like, give or take training for rugby league, give or take training for other sports, give or take training for, power and strength, as well as then trying to get into my rehab and get back into bodybuilding and that sort of stuff. Give or take 10, 15 years. Specificity to bodybuilding, probably the last since I was, I'm 31 now, so 27 was my comp age. So I've been like 4 years.
Yeah.
Now we've just, after 7 years specifically of study, education, studying my degree, formal educations elsewhere, extracurriculars, registrations, just starting to consistently put out training content in the educational sense, like as in like we're talking through videos, we're educating, that sort of stuff. And, I like certain apparel looks. I like certain things that I've, gotten myself to a position where I can afford sometimes to buy the stuff I like. And usually it'll only be on sale or secondhand if it's like Jordans. So like, getting things like Gasp apparel or stuff like that. I'll do a larger chunk order when it's on sale, but I can afford to wear it.
100%.
But at the same time, it's like, I just want it to be fucking oversized, hide me away. That's just how I like to look. But I'm seeing kids spend fuckloads of money on every other soda can and pre-workout and brand name product and every fucking kit and caboodle except a coach or harder training or fucking
or a good gym membership.
Like there's an Easy Mart near us that sell those original Prime drinks that fucking Logan Paul's make that are $15 a can for the American version.
Yeah.
There are fucking kids you see walk out of there with 3 or 4 cans each. Bruh. And it's like, it's at this weird point where, like, to me, we weren't like the money I was spending on was like Muscle Develop magazines, subscriptions to magazines.
I remember Muscle Development. Those were the days, bro.
You see like a jacked as fuck Kai Green centerpiece. You're like, that's going on the wall.
Yeah, 100%.
Like those were the things where, I spend that $15, I spend that $10. Or we're buying like rugby league magazines, like what was it called? Rugby League Week. You buy like the rugby magazine, shit like that. Like,
man,
$10, $15.
Yeah,
I want to know about what's going on in my sport, what's happening. Yeah. But now the sport itself is the Instagram side. And it's like this, I've got to appear like I know what I'm doing in the gym before knowing what I know at the gym.
Well, yeah, you got to look like you know what you're doing versus actually knowing what you're doing. Yeah.
And then from that, you get like, because we saw there's these kids at Powerhouse. I was actually going to speak to the owners and just say, look, I'm keen to just run a free
seminar,
like a free 1 hour seminar for the youngsters here, and just do a fucking Saturday or an early morning. Some of them are like, it's good because they're coming in a group like before school, which is what we used to do when we're playing like rugby league. Like we have to do preschool like programs, or training sessions or gym sessions, all part of the program we did. So like the development program. So fucking awesome. But there's 5 or 6 of them in one group doing 20 sets on 3 different machines. And they've got like the high top maxes with the fucking rider wear this, and they've got the fucking tucked in wife beater shirt and the fucking Brock top haircut. And it's like, but at the same time, train like absolute shit, do a set, and then go pose in the mirror. I wasn't posing until I was like genuinely concerned that I was going to compete. I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, that's what I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a funny one. I see what you mean. It's funny because we don't, I guess me personally anyway, I don't train at times where I'd see kids that often. Like I don't, you know what I mean? I train like that sort of mid-morning, and most of the people in there are the same crew. There's not really any kids. And every now on a weekend, or if, every now and then when I go a bit later, I've seen kids train. And yeah, I mean, I was that kid. It's like I walked in and had no idea what I was doing. And, you know, I used to wear fucking gloves, not gloves. I used to wear rubber things on my hands when I used to use a barbell because I don't know, that was a thing. Even though I had calluses because I played professional tennis and my hands were torn to shit, but whatever. I have no idea. Like I have no idea. I thought that was the cool thing to do at the time, right? Like wanting to look like your celebrity crush in a sense, I guess we'll call it. Like you know, your bromance or your, I don't know, what's the female version called? Whatever they call it. Wanting to look like, you know, those that you aspire to be or you're inspired by, I guess, in a sense. They look a certain way. One, because obviously they train and, you know, have the physique to look the way that they do. But 2, they're usually not paying for the shit that they wear. Like it's very rare at that level. Like most people are getting either discounted stuff or they're getting free stuff. Like we are talking about earlier, like even like something as simple as my golf stuff. Like I don't have to buy golf clothes again because I get it for free. You know what I mean? Like why would I go buy? Don't get me wrong. I will probably every now and then, like when it's on sale, like we spoke about, like go buy a Nike polo top that Tiger Woods wears because it's Tiger Woods. Like my favorite golfer. Like I'm going to go buy that, but I don't need to buy I don't need to buy it for the sake of buying it, if that makes sense. It's like
the other key point to that is too is that you didn't start out buying that stuff. Like you didn't
exactly.
I'm gonna learn golf. I'm gonna buy all this shit first.
Man, exactly right. I went to Kmart and bought the polo tops because they were cheap. They're $8. I'm wearing Kmart fucking pants now. They're $8. Like it's great. You serious?
The amount of shirts that I just like used to take or would get or would like from sponsored sales and stuff from my previous from the previous company, all that sort of stuff. Like I would save just by wearing company apparel because it was cheap, it fit, and it was free. Or it was like buy, you know, if you sold X amount of tubs, this supplier would give you X freebies or a jumper or a shirt. The amount of that stuff that I would get just because well, why am I paying for training apparel when it's coming in free? I don't need I don't need this gym wear brand. I don't need Rider. I'm not going to pay $80 for a UK VQ or fucking Gymshark shirt to come from fucking England. It'll cost me $50 in postage when I can literally just get shirts here that they do the same thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think when we look at it, the difference is we're adults, we can afford to do that even if we chose to do it. So it's like, you know, I have the expendable cash to say, hey, I'm going to go drop $200 on Trained by JP clothing because I can't get that here in Australia, for example. You can only get that from England. So, okay, well, if I want their t-shirts or his t-shirts, well, I'm going to go buy those t-shirts. I can afford to do that. But I probably won't buy another 2 t-shirts for 5 years. Like I've got Trained by JP stuff and I bought it 3 years ago when it was a Black Friday sale.
Yeah.
So it's the same
with the Gasp stuff. Like the Gasp stuff I've got is literally 3XL in Gasp size.
Yeah.
I ain't needing to buy any more of that for another fucking 10
years. And I didn't buy that clothing when I was 18, 19.
Yeah, going to train.
Yeah. Well, between that and like going into train for the first time when you're really starting to like find yourself in a gym, like I'm pretty sure I wore actual football AFL footy jerseys that I played
Oh
in.
yeah, the amount of times I was just a footy shorts
Like,
guy in the gym, eh?
yeah, like just wearing because it's what I had, or like I'd wear. I
Yeah.
think I'd even wear my tennis because I was sponsored for tennis. Like I'd wear whatever t-shirts they gave me. Like who cares? And even now, like I don't buy training t-shirts, man. I've got like 25 Matter t-shirts and about 30 fucking Elite Strength t-shirts. I don't
Yeah,
need to
exactly.
wear. Yeah, like I
But
don't
like
need to
even
buy t-shirts to train in. So it's like I don't care about the people that I look up to in the industry. The only time I would buy a t-shirt if it's to support them, if that
yeah,
makes sense. It's like, but I'm at a point now where I can do that. I couldn't do that 15 years ago, but I can do that now.
exactly,
Yeah, so
exactly.
it's like my boy like Lukey Miller's got some cool printed t-shirts like designs. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy one because I don't necessarily care about like if I messaged him and said, dude, I want one of your t-shirts, he'd give it to me for free. He'd just
Yeah,
send it to me.
yeah,
But it's like I'll support him by financially buying the t-shirt
yeah,
because it's support of his business. It's not
exactly.
any other reason. Like I don't want to look like him because I mean I'm more pretty, but like sorry, Luke, you're ugly, but I love you. But you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. Like I can afford to do that now,
Yeah.
not when I was
It,
18.
it wasn't the foundation of our training. It wasn't
Nah,
like
it
this
was
is
to
going to
go in
determine
and
whether or not I go to the gym.
yeah, it was to go in and fucking train and usually train with a mate and talk shit
Yeah,
and
and
do
like,
some dumb shit.
and even in the sense where you're not 100% certain when you're starting out how to do shit or like what you do. Like we were lucky we had coaches that would guide us through that sort of stuff, but yeah, we kind of knew early on. Yeah, like I've bought.
Bro, my workouts were from fucking muscle development and FHM.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
FHM when they used to have the workouts in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
try this one or like
Yeah, that's why I bought FHM for the workouts. It wasn't for anything else, I swear. It had nothing to do with, it had nothing to do with the, spread of
the
the
pretty ladies.
pretty ladies in the bikinis. Nah, it wasn't that. It was for the articles at the back.
Yeah, well, fucking, I've still got like an original release of the Arnie's bodybuilding Bible. Like,
Yeah.
we would do stuff like that. Like, I
Yeah.
would go through that and be like, well, fucking, what's in here?
Yeah,
What
the
are the
encyclopedia.
Yeah, the encyclopedia. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah. Fucking, what do I need to do here? Or like, doing fucking vertical front raises and shit. And you're
Yeah.
just like, cool, I'm just gonna do this stuff. Like, this
Yeah.
is what I'm
It's
doing.
like, yeah, he did it, so I'll do it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like that was the stuff where I don't know. It makes you sound so fucking old and cringy, but at the same time, it's because I don't want you to like to have to spend 15 years relearning basic shit or like going back to foundations because you spent the first 10 spending money and doing dumb stuff you didn't need to do or wasting time.
Yeah, it's like, well, don't get me wrong, we do have those people that are hard learners, right? Like they have to go through the dumb shit to come out with the good shit. So be it. If that's the case, that's the case. But if you can speed up your process and, get smarter, better, stronger in a faster time period, why wouldn't you yield or why wouldn't you take advantage of that ability to yield that result?
Yeah.
Like I don't get it. Well, I don't get why you wouldn't do it, but I mean, each to their own.
And we like I'm not sure if I'm just not as big, but like I remember going like early days after my spinal surgery, and I was like, I want to learn how to get bigger. I want to know what else to do. Like I need to improve some shit. Like my shoulders are terrible, my width is terrible. I'm not thick, I'm not anything. I'd ask the fucking like there was some big IFBB guys in the gyms when I was 21, whatever, 20, competing for like state and national titles and that sort of shit. So I'd go up to them and ask them like, look, what are you doing for XYZ? How do you do it? What is it you're trying to do? How are you getting it? Blah, blah, blah. But like, I would recognize that I know fuck all. Like, if that's the case, if that's what you're further way ahead of me, so you must know something. What is it? And there's just like this. Everyone assumes now because Instagram or like Bumstead puts out videos that they know just as much and don't have to ask questions. And
yeah, it's not even to that point. It's just people doing the exercises that they see on like TikTok and Instagram. And I've never really, honestly, I've never really come across someone that has actually openly admitted, hey, I saw this on how they did this on TikTok. So this is how I've been doing it because my coach has programmed this exercise, right? Yeah. So it's like person's got a coach, got all these like really good programming as well. Like the coaching is phenomenal, like whatever it is, but the person doesn't know how to do like an exercise properly or as effective for that person because obviously we're all our morphologies are all very different. So it's like, oh, I saw this person do this exercise this way, and it's like, okay, but it's kind of wrong because then you explain it and you're like, well, if you're trying to target this muscle, then you got to go through its fully lengthened position to its fully shortened position. How do you do that? You're not going to do it by doing this, this, and that. So try it this way for me. I feel the target muscle. You're welcome. But it's like the person got the exercise from TikTok, and it's like, well, it's like, what do you do, right? Because it's not the person's fault, because they've probably gone to someone that speaks with authority on these social media pages, and it's been like, okay, well, the person probably looks good, probably has, maybe does have clients, has client results, who knows, and probably does get results with that particular exercise done in that particular way, but hasn't shown its variations in any other way to do it. And it's like, well, hold on, there's better ways to do things, or there's many ways to do things. And it's like, you can't blame, like, do you blame the person? Do you blame the influencer? Like, do you not blame anyone? Like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just something like early days. I think there's just been a change in focus. Just kind of like the post I put up the other day. It was kind of on like things I would tell myself when I was younger, in the sense of like teaching younger people, is that there wasn't such a social influence on us back in the day in training. It was literally like magazines, some YouTube videos if you're lucky, or you bought someone's training DVD. You saw some pull-out magazines, or you just had to actually just fucking train and figure it out. You had to have a coach or a sporting coach, or you maybe had a fucking school program. But I remember we had school programs that were literally like 8 exercises a session, fucking 3x10, and it just go down the list of 3x10. Or if you're a front rower, you might have had more squats at 2x6 to 8, like shit like that, where it's kind of positional, and that was about it. But now it's like, well, I've got to train for the premise of putting it up somewhere, or looking like I train to put up somewhere.
Training for the wrong reasons. And it's literally, had this conversation yesterday with one of my mentees. He's coaching his first client potentially to a show in a couple of years' time, natural show. And very first time, qualified nutrition, really, really smart dude. And the girl's like, her mentality is like, I want to win. And it's like, hold on, hold on. We're trying to explain that the result isn't anyone but the people that judge it on the day. Like, it's got nothing to do with the work that you both put in. Like, it's got nothing to do with that at all. Like, as long as the person can get to the end of everything and say, I didn't leave a stone unturned, that's a win. It's like, but the result is completely out of your control. And it's like, it's managing your client's expectations in that aspect. And it's like, dude, like, making sure that you do things for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. It's like you said, like, going to train and record your footage just to put it on social media for the sake of some form of like praise, probably not the way to go about it. Like, obviously, you're looking for something more.
Yeah.
But if you're like, hey, I'm recording my sessions because I want to keep a memory of it, by all means, throw it on social media. Social media is a good way to keep memories because it's on social media.
Exactly.
By all means, go for it. Like, as long as you don't care about the people that may give you negative comments, might say you're doing it wrong. Like, you know what I mean? As long as you don't care, then by all means. But if you're putting it up and then going to care what people say and think and all that sort of stuff, well, we need to reassess why you're potentially doing it. Unless obviously, like, it's for business, you're a coach, whatever, or you're competing and you want to show like a journey maybe or something along those lines, what the ins and outs are. But yeah, doing things for the right reasons. And I think that's where most people break down these days. Understanding their reason.
Because I think it's become so publicized now that the second you get into a gym, it's like you have to compete.
It's the cool thing.
But you have no interest in being compared against the other people. You have no interest in actively assessing your own physique or being critical on yourself. Like, that's where we end up with, in looping back all the time as we do, with these problems with bodybuilding causing all these neuroses, is the people are doing it for the wrong reasons or think they have to do it. Could be the coach's fault, could be the trainer's fault. They're like, oh, you will compete. You will be someone who gets on the stage, versus actually someone wanting to be up there and not just wanting to look pretty. Like, you can do a photo shoot. You can do a fucking photo shoot. For women, like, you can do a photo shoot fucking 10 weeks out and you'll get great interaction and content and validation and be all over Instagram and all sort of stuff. And like, kudos to you, go do that. But to think like, you're having to get on stage to do it, or, it just ends up, like you said, ends up being the wrong reason to do the thing. And, from the earliest stage possible, if you can learn to have goals as to why you're doing stuff, like, you'll be tenfold further than even I was. My goals, I used to be like, I was tiny. I want to get bigger for footy. I want to get bigger for my back recovery. I want to get stronger. I would buy shirts 2 sizes up so that if I liked the shirt, I would fit it by the time I finished growing 2 times over. Like I would look into like where I wanted to be and go, I need to be bigger than that because this shirt is this size. I'm not going to throw the shirt out until I can fit it. And it's had a wear. And I wouldn't, it'd be literally, it started off with, I was telling Brooklyn, maybe Tom the other day about this, where it'd be like, I would have, I was a small, or I'd fit XS in high school, something like that. I was a small kid. I'd be like, okay, I'll buy a medium because I want that to fit like nicely. But also, that means I have to fill it out. I have to train. I have to eat. I have to do some stuff. Okay, now I'm a fucking medium. Well, I want to be a large.
It's a mental health problem. Sorry, bro. Can't do that.
Yeah, no, it's real neurotic of me. Hey, I should just accept myself in size and not track anything or hold myself accountable. I don't want to make any progress in life.
It's just so easy to stir you. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Good.
Look the bear. Oh, his blood pressure go through the roof.
Let me just tuck my fucking shirt up my bum crack, and you guys can just look at that, and I'll call you sexy. I'll call you misogynistic for looking.
We always should do. We should do one of these podcasts where we have a talk. The talking topic would have to be like healthy at any size. And then we attach blood pressure monitors and like, can you imagine? And just watch which one goes up higher.
Just close, like just get Dave to edit the numbers across the screen.
Just blow. The machine just blows up.
Healthy and
yeah, legit. It would be funny.
Yeah, I guess like not that any of these kids are going to listen to it because again, it would imply that they're trying to learn. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm being too cynical, but just fuck off with the I need to spend all the money to look like this person, to be this person, blah, blah. Go into train fucking hard for you because you're never going to be that person anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you train exactly the same as them in 10 years and took all the drugs they did. You're only going to be you, but in a bigger version. So why spend all this money and time trying to look like this person? Like I tell people all the time, like you're going to see me more and more in fucking oversized clothes and bigger clothes. Shirts will come off when I'm leaning to posing for feedback and like, maybe some content, but most of the time it's just going to be more and more oversized stuff and just hiding the fuck away. Just do whatever the fuck is fine if whatever is comfortable for you, but at the same time, like being 45 kilos wringing wet with fucking Air Maxes into your rider wear, and they got the fucking socks tucked into the trackies tucked into the socks, and they got the wife beater singlet on and posing after doing. I saw one of the kids try to do a side chest or a most musculars, one of the two, after doing hack squats. And I was like, brother.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Send it, bro. Just send it.
Bro, honestly, today I was training with my boy Ant. And we were doing pec deck. And kid comes over. He would have been, I reckon, early 20s by far. Yeah, not fat, not skinny, like looks like he kind of trains-ish, maybe a little bit. And this is what time did we start training? 9:45. So like this would have been like 10:15 in the morning, 10:30 in the morning. Comes up and he goes, "Oh, how many? Like, sorry, man, you got many more sets?" I'm like, "I've literally got one more," and he's got one more, and we're done. And he's like, "Yeah, sweet, no stress." And then so we're walking over from pec deck. We're gonna go do some delts. Walk over to the delt machine, and I turn around and I see this kid doing pec deck with his top off. He's wearing a basketball jersey beforehand, and he's just got his top off doing pec deck. Now it's fucking cold. We're in Melbourne, and it's like 16 degrees. Like, brother. Like I didn't see a camera out, so to his credit, but I imagine there was one somewhere because I don't understand. But there is a mirror in front, so maybe he was like checking, the contractions and shit. But
was he lean?
He wasn't fat, like I said. Like he wasn't muscular per se, but he wasn't fat. So whatever. I was observing. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, don't get me wrong. I've trained topless before in my garage gym when I'm by myself, or when I was training in lockdown in the gym that I worked at because I was allowed to be at my place of work at the time. So when no one else was around, like just because it's fun, but at the same time, like if commercial gym, like if you're doing practicing posing and like that's the mirror to practicing because the lighting's good or whatever, and you're gonna whip your shit off, like it's Doherty's, everyone does it, like I get it.
Yeah.
But like taking your top off.
That's a ballsy move for Doherty's too. Like,
yeah, and there's a lot of big dudes around. Like I'm not even the biggest dude at the time, so whatever. Like walking around, like just training with his top off. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Sure.
The gym is a good to watch. We sound super judgy, but at the same time, like
Oh, it's entertaining. It's entertaining. Like, and I actually don't mean this in like a negative sense. It's just really funny to observe. It's like when you sit at a cafe and you're sitting with someone or a group of people and you all go quiet because you're listening to the conversation that's happening next to you because you're just like, wow.
Craig did what to Karen?
Yeah, like he did what to her mum?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's more so like I think just redirect where your focus is starting out that young. Like, don't worry about the fucking fancy shit and having cameras and fucking whatever else. Like, having fucking this matching pair of shoes and all that sort of stuff. Like, if you can afford it, you're likely to be in a position where financially you can afford it. Great, but at the same time, if you're buying that stuff and you've got no fucking coaching advice or you're not paying for that because you think you know it all, well, then I say you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I mean, look at it this way: if you're dropping 50 to like $100 a week on shit that you don't need, like these pre-workout drinks,
Yeah,
but you don't have a coach, so you got like no form of actual progress, or you got no form of a program whatsoever, and tangible, measurable things
yeah,
in there to measure your progress, whether it be performance based, hypertrophy, or like physique based, or whatever it is that you're doing.
mm-hmm.
But you can afford to go buy all this other shit. Maybe not. Like, and don't get me wrong, we've been there. Like, we've been the kid that's bought the supplements that you don't need. Like,
Yeah,
we all know we all went to fucking Nutrition Warehouse or whatever, what even the original ones were. I can't even remember what they were called. And you went and bought like GNC. And you went and bought like, yeah, see, GNC, those were the days. And you
yeah,
went and bought like protein powder that you didn't need. And then you bought like, casein protein powder that you didn't need. And then you also bought fat burners that you didn't need. And then you bought the pre-workout that you didn't like. So you bought the other one because then they gave you the free samples that you like. So you're like, I'll buy that one because it tasted really good. Then the powder goes to shit after like 3 days, and you're like, fuck, I can't even use this
yeah.
anymore. Like, we've all been there.
Yeah.
And we're telling you not to do that because we've done
Yeah, it's also a learn from us.
it. Yeah, like
If you're gonna like look up to people and like spend money on their stuff, look at the ones who are between, like that are where you're going or where you've like been where you are, because we're going to give you the most advice for free. You have to pay us for it.
Well, exactly right.
And if you're already avoiding things by saving money because you want to spend money on shitty supplements, then save the free money and listen to us.
Exactly right. Do what we say because we've done what you've done.
Yes, exactly.
We've done what you're doing. But anyway, should we move
Yeah.
on to questions?
Let's do it.
What have we got here? If you were only allowed to complete one exercise for lower and upper, what would it be?
Um,
One lower exercise. Fuck, that's tough.
one all-encompassing lower exercise.
See, you wouldn't be able to get all encompassing.
You wouldn't.
Nah, but I would. It'd be a toss up between a hack and an RDL. I reckon.
That's pretty much gonna be my answers.
A hack or an RDL. I fucking
Yeah.
love a good hack, and I'd love to die on an RDL. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Upper, upper.
Yeah, I reckon it'd just be a good old fashioned row of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I much prefer pull over push, even though
Yeah.
I get told I got big titties or tig bitties. But I do like a good back exercise.
I do love
Good row.
a good back day.
Yeah. I reckon like a good old fashioned, like chest supported plate row.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
I can load, grab my fucking grips, and just go nuts on.
Or just go
Like
real
for
old
me,
school with the V grip T-bar row. Remember back in the day, you used to wedge
I've
the
seen,
bar.
I never liked them. Never liked them. I tried it so fucking hard. I could not. I could not get
that was
into
one. I think one day I did like that was sloppy, but I had like 140 on there, like 20, 20, 20. I was like, this is just
Yeah,
leveraging at this point. Like you're just learning how
literally.
to
Like,
cheat it.
yeah, I couldn't stand that. That T-bar row. Like I tried it so many ways. I tried, when like you saw people actually not even use the V grips. They literally just go one hand on top of the other. Like I
Yeah,
tried
yeah,
I tried that. I tried the V grip. I even tried a V grip and then use the actual lap bar, the longer
yeah,
bar, and
yeah,
slide it through so that you get an actual like pronated or supinated grip instead of
yeah.
having a neutral grip. Like I tried it, man. I'm just like, I can't do it. I fucking hate it. And then
It
chest
was such
supported.
a. It was every big. It had its heyday and then just died off.
Yeah,
It
like
was
for
like,
prime, just a good old fashioned prime row chest support. Give me that. Fucking,
yeah,
I'll go ham on it, I reckon.
yeah.
Um, in your opinion, what's the biggest gym bro myth?
The biggest gym bro myth. I mean, fuck, there's so many of them.
Yeah, that's a pretty broad question.
Biggest gym bro myth is certain, I mean, at our level of explanation, like certain esters dry you out. You run certain compounds to dry you out.
Yeah.
Or the fucking 2-hour anabolic window.
Yeah, I mean, eating protein every 2 or 3 hours or whatever is a funny one, but biggest bro myth, like
it's annoying because inside those wives' tales there's like an essence of truth.
Truth, yeah, and that's the funny thing. So it's kind of like what one's like completely and utterly blatantly wrong.
Yeah.
I guess Psalms are good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Psalms do something. It's like, not really. BCAAs maybe, like intra workout, using
See, again,
BCAAs.
if you're inadequate in protein consumption, they have a role.
Yeah,
If you're trying
again,
to decrease DOMs, they have a role.
yeah, I'd argue that, but that's fine. Yeah, like, well, the difference is between BCAAs and EAAs, right? So it's like we know that EAAs are going to have a better rate of return than we do from BCAAs. But back in the day, when we look at when we were coming up, it was always BCAAs. No one spoke about EAAs.
You're fancy always, if you knew what EAAs were.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, if you knew what they were and you could get them, you were like, shit, you are a fucking pro.
Like fucking
otherwise,
human pro.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you're using branched chain amino acids and you're using probably fucking BSN's bloody like, let's be real, that's what everyone fucking used.
Remember BSN had one that's called Rebuild? It was a fucking good product. It was like
it tasted fucking great.
Creatine,
branched chains. It tasted good.
Yeah, it was like an actual good intra-workout drink.
Yeah,
you're like, this stuff is fucking...
It mixed well and tasted nice. And you're like, this is a fucking bomb. But yeah, and then everyone went to Amino Energy because that was, the one to go to.
If you need caffeine on top of the caffeine you already had.
100%. So yeah, I reckon probably BCAAs for me, like the importance of BCAAs will probably be the biggest bro myth for me, I think.
That's fair. Oh yeah, in terms of importance, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to think, like, an actual bro myth, because like we said, there are some, like, there's a lot of truth to a lot of them. It's just obviously the exaggeration of them.
I suppose carbs after 6 is another good one because
I was trying to think of nutrition ones. I was actually trying to think of training ones as well, like mind muscle connection shit, like stuff like that.
Old mate Hanny Rembod's fucking Sarcoplasmic 7 training. What's it, SST7 or whatever it is?
Yeah, I still haven't even like looked into that. Yeah. But anyway,
his argument is that with full contracted reps at length and short position, then into a very, very, very slow eccentric, you're enhancing the sarcoplasmic response as opposed to myofibril hypertrophy response.
Oh.
Unless he's changed it. That's what it was when I first looked into it. And someone was like, SST7.
But this is the other thing. And then people start like that. These are the things that people don't understand. And you got to start looking at passive and active tension. And you got to start looking at passive active mechanical tension and then what it's doing at Titan and Titan's response in the lengthened position and all this other crap. I know people are like, what the fuck's this cunt going on about? It's true. This is the shit that I know. And I don't talk about because I can't be bothered. But anyway, we won't get into that because then you start looking at stretch mediated hypertrophy, and we won't get into that conversation. We'll be here for 3 days. Start talking about like myofibrillogenesis and fucking all this other crap. It's like, bro, I don't want to go through all that again.
Let's talk about the cross bridge section of the hypertrophy.
Yeah, start going through Z discs and shit. Like, no, go away. I don't talk about
it. Suck on me.
Yeah, fucking anyway.
Can only have one for the rest of your life: core, rice, cereal, pasta, oats. Cereal, bro.
Cereal, yeah, cereal. Like, is it any cereal? It's definitely cereal.
Yeah, I'm gonna say cereal.
Cereal.
Just a cereal.
Cereal.
Different benefits of varying cardio intensity. Zones 1 through 5 for a cut and a bulk.
So easiest way to look at it is obviously what you're using the cardio for, because obviously the intensity will determine the length of time.
Mm-hmm.
And the length of time will establish, I guess, energy used in a sense, kind of. If you're a track and field athlete, or if you're a field, we'll call it based athlete, footy, soccer, whatever, you need a high aerobic threshold. So it's like you need to be quite aerobically fit. You don't necessarily need to be as muscular or as strong. So doing cardio and doing running or whatever your sport requires, like if you're a swimmer and you're a long distance swimmer or whatever it is, having cardiovascular health and being proficient is way more important. As a bodybuilder, yes, we need to have heart health. So yes, we need to be doing some form of cardio. It's just that cardio is used for the task of keeping healthy 9 times out of 10, keeping the heart healthy and keeping everything, I guess, functioning, versus actually being aerobically fit, if that makes sense. So the time length will determine which like vector you tick off.
Yeah.
Yeah, is how I'd look at it.
Then you've also got the aspect where being aerobically fit does play its role into like a growth phase, or any phase of training. You don't want to be someone limited. I think I made a point about this on one of the training blog episodes. When people brag about keeping cut, like they do like hashtag no cardio, and then we're looking at the fact that we're trying to drive volume or hypertrophy, which is going to require greater degrees of training intensity, but you're also getting heavier and heavier, so you're going to get unfitter. Like the body's just simply going to get bigger, and it's going to put more pressure on your heart to then pump around more. So if you're unfit, you're going to vastly fatigue faster than, say, me, if I keep my cardio in and my system's aerobically at a capacity as a zone 2 to 3 range when I'm doing my cardio 3, 4, 5 times a week. If that's enabling me to get those extra reps out, if that's enabling me to be less fatigued in my actual resistance training, because then I'm getting closer to the proxy of failure due to mechanical tension and musculature failure versus lack of oxygen and fatigue.
Yeah.
I'm then going to be able to train harder for longer.
Yeah, we start to look at mitochondrial biogenesis when we get to that point, which is just a fancy term for saying how fast you can turn over ATP in the cell to use for your next rep. And the more aerobically fit you are, the more efficient you are at that process. So you're in theory able to potentially exert more energy per rep versus if you're not fit, you probably won't. And that's why when you the biggest thing is listening to powerlifters say, oh, anything more than 5 reps is cardio, mostly because they're fat and unhealthy. And that's kind of why.
Yeah, so if your heart rate shooting up to fucking 190 because you don't.
Yeah, it's probably the best example when people are like, more than 5 reps is cardio. Yeah, you're unhealthy and fat. That's why. It's not a lot of reps. Stop being dramatic. So you need to do the reps to get a little bit more healthy. Yes.
I suppose then we can kind of look at also, I guess, in say a cut sense, we're looking for certain zones to help drive beta oxidation more so than anything, where you're actually going to free up fatty acids and use them for fuel. In the absence of food intake.
Yeah, well, we need enhancements in there to liberate fat for that, because we know that fasted cardio in naturals isn't any more beneficial or different to just normal cardio at any stage of the day, whether when energy consumption is controlled. But if you're using enhancement practices, using stimulants, using these sorts of things like clenbuterol, yohimbine, even growth hormone, and stuff like that, then we can start to like injectable L-carnitine, we can start to say, okay, well, fasted cardio does have its place in that aspect, and we'll start to liberate fat for oxidation purposes. But at the same time, the style of cardio doesn't necessarily matter as much, or the type of cardio, the duration of cardio. Obviously, the longer or more intense that cardio can be, the better, but intensity will again determine length of time that you can do it. The more intensity is, the shorter period of time you're going to do it, right?
Yeah. So I love seeing people like, yeah, I do HIIT 5 times a week, and like I do like my group HIIT class, whatever the fuck it is, and you look at them like, okay, you're training at 100% capacity for 45 minutes 5 times a week. That's what you think you were doing?
Yeah.
Genuine failure of max heart rate, VO2. You think that you were doing that 5 times a week? Okay.
Yeah, exactly right.
Sure you were, pal.
Yeah, and it's just, again, time and place, but you want to tick off most boxes literally 3 times a week, 4 times a week. If you want to, 20 to 30 minutes, heart rate 120 to 130 beats per minute, go. You're going to be pretty fucking healthy.
What are you speaking on in the US of A? I just can't talk about it. Body composition, psychological impacts, and like behavioral style coaching. Client-centric coaching, we'll call it. Holistic coaching. Let's call it that, because I like to fucking bring that back.
Do it.
Rant. People replacing veg with greens powders alone.
Yeah, look, I didn't know this was still a thing. Obviously, really the difference between, not really, but I mean, a key fundamental difference between a powder especially when it comes to a veggie powder versus actual vegetables, is the process that the veggies have to go through to become a powder and what you lose in that process, which is a lot. And then we start to look at the bioavailability of the nutrients that aren't in the powder because they've got lost in the process of making the powder. So they're the key things. The thing is, you don't need that many vegetables to hit your micronutrient content for the day. This is more so speaking on your average Joe who, goes to the gym maybe 3 to 4 times a week and isn't a competitive person in any sense. They just go for health, we'll call it.
Yep.
It does skew a little bit as your goals become, I guess, more intense or more specific. But if you're literally just wanting to go to the gym, keep healthy and all that sort of stuff, like your micronutrient content isn't that high. And it's not that difficult. Literally 2 different fruits, 5 different veggies a day, and skins on where possible. That sorts out your fiber content and you're done. Like it's really not complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the thing, so it came up on one of the bro chats though. It was like a question where they were discussing like why they use the greens instead of food. Like the biggest factor they missed out of all of it was the absence of bulk to your waste management. Like when you're powderizing things, you're crushing it down, you're not getting actual fiber. You get some micronutrients, don't get me wrong. You can substitute with a greens powder. There's some micronutrients in there that aren't great. You're gonna top them up. You might piss out most of them, you're gonna top it up. Fantastic. If you can afford it, that's what you want to do, great. But the absence of actual soluble and insoluble fiber that you're getting from eating fibrous vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, skin on fruits, all those things are going to make an impact to the mass of your process, your digestive process, drawing things into the stomach, making sure your body can process waste properly, voiding that waste out efficiently, not developing things like bowel sicknesses and toxins re-entering the bloodstream. You're actually processing and shitting and clearing your system properly. The benefits of having whole veggies is beyond just us being like, oh, chicken and broccoli, bro. It's so that you can live properly. Like you don't want to be 50, 60 with fucking poor digestion, your body not being able to process food and waste and toxins and fucking excreting shit.
Yeah. Well, it's like you're effectively using a system to keep that system healthy. So it's like if you can't keep that system healthy, well, it's going to break down in time. And you can use it, use the car example. If you have a diesel car, you're not putting petrol in it.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, hold on. Why not just give the body what it's required, to keep it as healthy as possible for as long as possible before you need to take it in for a service. And by service, I mean open your stomach up and cut your shit out.
Fuck big dry log fucking stick hanging out of your guts.
Like
the biggest problem there seems to be is there's always this dichotomy. So people always create these false dichotomies and these perplexing fucking polarizations that they seem to think exist in fitness. Like it shouldn't be, can I get away with a greens over vegetables? No, why would you want to? It should never be, can I do resistance training over just cardio? Or can I do cardio instead of it? Why are you trying to do one over the other? It's not a dichotomy in any sense. Why are you going, oh, can I do vegetables instead of can I get all my protein from vegetables instead of from fucking a mixture of meats and veg? Why? Unless you're genuinely ethically fucking raised to the bone as a fucking vegan or vegetarian, creating all these dichotomies of fitness and health related concepts is missing the forest for the trees. It's never one or the other. It's not, exactly. Oh, can I get away with 60 hours sleep instead of 8? It's not, can you get away with this? Why the fuck are you trying to? Yeah. If you can only get 6, sure, let's work on you getting 6.5. But looking at these things and creating these would I rathers or could I get away with instead of just saying, I see the benefits to the micronutrients in a greens powder, but also I know that I need my actual whole foods. Fucking fine. Why not both? Like one of your drinks, you have a glass of water at some point a day, maybe add some greens powder to it. But that isn't going to be adequate for you to go, I'm going to now avoid every fucking fruit and vegetable in my diet. Like it's just, the way I look at it, and I've had this argument a few times with people, especially those fuckwit, those fuckwit coaches and nutrition coaches will try and tell you that supplements are a complete waste of time and everything's about them is a piece of shit. I had clients come to me with genuine trauma to eating issues around vegetables because of childhood. Now, I don't go, hey, you're a piece of shit for not eating your fruit and vegetables. They say to me, it made me gag because when I was a kid, I was force-fed for not eating my veggies, or I was abused for at a very disciplinary, autocratic fucking parenting. Okay, so instead of being that, what do you like? Well, I know I can have some fucking spinach. Okay,
Cool.
well, how about we do a V8 super juice or a fucking orange juice and something else like that, and we gradually work that in, or maybe some greens. Yeah, cool. I can do an orange juice and a greens powder and some fucking some vegetables. Fantastic. Can we raise that vegetable level whilst we pull down the greens vegetables level, fucking greens powder? Yes. Okay. Now I've got 2 or 3 vegetables you like in the day. Fantastic. Can we get to 5? Cool. Now we're good. That's it. You don't need to do much more than that. And maybe have the greens in there because you like the taste in the morning. That's where supplements play their role. We're substituting into we're phasing out. We're not saying this or that.
That's just it. That's in the word supplement. They supplement
Right?
your lifestyle. They are not replacements. They're not replacement shakes. They're not replacement
It's not a
things.
fucking meal replacement shake.
Yeah, they
Not fucking
literally
Weight Watchers.
exactly. They are supplements.
I got 2. Hang on, my phone's been a piece of shit. And I put this minimalist app on my phone. Fantastic. Great fucking time saver. If I don't let the clock run down and let me back in, it just kicks me out of the app. It's fantastic. Post on holistic hijacking the other day. Where do you think coaches miss with their clients in this regard? So I think one of the biggest problems is that there's kind of a spectrum to this. You're either really just the very basic, all about fucking macros and training, nothing else in my coaching, like nothing else coaching you matters. That's all there is. Or there's the fucking far right anti-agenda fucking mainstream anything is the fucking man, and we can't touch anything. I need to do like anal sunning to get my healthy clients' vitamin D levels up. That level of like holistic,
yeah,
on that end of the spectrum. And I think in fitness we get these communities of like one or the other, and again, so those things of like one or the other.
Yeah, it's extremes.
Exactly right. And it's just, but instead of like looking at it and compromising in the middle system and going, okay, I know that in principle and theory, frequency matters, intensity matters, set allocation matters, adequate protein timing matters, 7 to 9 hours sleep matters, fucking yada, yada. If you look at that and you go, I've got a dad that works 2 jobs on a night shift with 2 kids at home, but you're a piece of shit of a client because you can't do that. You're not the client for me. That's where I think a lot of people go missing is, if you're trying to run a business, you're losing out on a lot of clients and making us look good because we look at that person and go, okay, here is where your life is. Here is where I would like you to be. How do we build that up?
Yeah.
And that's as simple as it is. It's not like we have these secret tools and strategies. It's literally just, okay, well, I know where you can be. I know what your goal says you want to be. Let's work with where your lifestyle is and the hiccups or limitations you might have. And we're now stuck within the parameters of that data set, if you will. Now we've got to try and find ways to improve that or increase it. If we don't do that, or we just say you're a piece of shit for not fucking, tracking everything and not having all your food and veg and sleep and training intensity and yada, yada, you can't do a 6-day program, that's going to drive them away from even wanting coaching. But at the same time, if we just say, fucking, you can't use, I don't know, fucking tracking is too detrimental and accounting for your data is too fucking neurotic, or, we've got to get away from medications and supplementation because they're all pieces of shit and fucking whatever else that people come up with in their very far right weird ideas, or I guess more left of their fucking, I don't know, your holistic approach. When we're looking at things like saying, we're going to ice bathing is the cure to every fucking manic problem ever created ever, and that's what's going to solve things, versus us just finding the middle, or saying like we need to have this 3-hour morning routine for a client who has 20 minutes in their fucking day before they have to leave for work. We're creating these limitations and barriers to entry that are going to create people separating.
Yeah.
Like we're essentially driving away the market that we can help most by saying, if not this, then don't do anything.
Well, yeah, when you start to speak in absolutes.
Exactly. And it's why it's the way of the Sith.
Yeah. Leads
even though Yoda speaks in absolutes, but whatever. That's a plot hole that we won't go into. But yeah, I think that's where I think the biggest limitation is, like, holistic coaching, as we talked about before. Holistically, we are encompassing where your life is, psychologically, how you're feeling, how things are going, fucking where you are in life, if you're stressed, if you're fucked, if your family's falling apart, whatever. If you're at uni or whatever, like one of my girls literally stepped her back because she's like, I'm mentally fucked in my training, but I've got 3 weeks left until my exam block is finished. I was like, cool. We're going to go from 5 days a week to 2. You know why? Training requirement to maintain muscle built is far less than training required to build stimulus and grow.
Exactly.
So why the fuck take all that extra stress and place on yourself when I can take a step back, and say, right now, you building muscle or smashing through this cut isn't as much of a priority. Let's fucking get through uni, get through sleep, make sure you're fed and move on. That is holistic coaching.
Well, yeah, it's an all-encompassing approach. That's really in the word holistic.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Last one. If your goals happen sooner than the 5-year mark, like you say, as you've written them, at what point should you reevaluate? Well, I think you should always be reevaluating goals. I think the big thing for me that's served me really well is that no goal is ever actually set to a specific timeline. It's set in a time horizon. And if that time horizon starts to shrink and approaches closer, I set another big goal.
Well, that's just it, right? Because you're also breaking down bigger goals into smaller goals. So if you start to tick off those smaller goals probably more frequently than what was anticipated, then you start to reassess that bigger goal and think, oh, okay, maybe there's more.
Yeah, exactly right. Like my goals, if you will, of winning a fucking show, winning a division, I was at least like 2 to 3 shows away or 2 to 3 seasons away. I was like, oh, maybe they'll not be competitive. Then we look at, I've spoken about this 100 times. The goals that Matter set when I first started opening the service up was basically at the 5-year mark. I want to look at international presentations, run some seminars overseas, talk on stage, do some shit. That happened in what will be basically 2 years, 22 months. So we look at that and go, okay, so if that was the big step in 5 years' time, then what does that look like now in 5 years' time when that actually comes around? Well, now the expectation is that 5-year mark is actually a lot bigger. So now we reassess. Okay, well, what do we want the next 5-year mark to look like? Well, this is a free chat in 5 years' time. I want to be paid for these. Okay, so if we keep working on that and chipping away on the action points and the markers towards those goals, the likelihood is that that one comes sooner as well. And now instead of being 5 years, it's 2 years. And by the time you reach that first 5-year marker, what you thought was going to be your 5-year goal is tenfold what it was.
Exactly.
Because you kept enhancing the time horizon to bigger and bigger tasks. But, and this is where like the law of, I guess, what's the word? Exponential notation comes in. You eventually start to double up on those numbers. So, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16, or fucking whatever, 64. And you start to realize that the more better you get, the more experience you put yourself in front of, the more opportunities you make the most of, all of a sudden those opportunities keep getting better and better. And now what was like, this level here, but in 5 years, I'm assuming this will be where level I'm at. Well, that was you were here in year 1. So like realistically, year 5 is going to be up here if you keep applying that same process.
Exactly right. It continually just keeps pushing.
Yeah, that's it. And that's kind of like, it's why I like fixed goals, but also hate smart goals. When people just use smart goals to talk about training or like life longevity of things, I fucking hate it.
It's like it's a start. It's a foot in the door. It's kind of like, yeah, cool. Like it's an approach to get you started, but then as you start to progress, you'll see that will change, or it should change in theory.
See, I don't even like them as an entry point. I would rather you set me the biggest 5-year goal that you could possibly think of, make it as fucking ludicrous as possible, because from there we can work back to what's tangible.
Yeah, but you'd use smart goals to work your way back. So you could have a crazy ludicrous goal and use the smart approach, we'll call it, to start to actually like fill in the gaps. But then as you start to progress, you'll be like, okay, maybe not. That's why it's like you can start to use it as a ground framework because it's easier concept for most people to grasp.
Yeah. Or what we call top-down processing.
Yeah, exactly right. I was going to say top-down processing. Make it easier. But that is all the questions that we have today.
That is it.
Next week, I shall be recording from Dubai, so this should be fun.
Same place again? Same hotel?
Nah, I'm going bougie, bro, because it's off season. It's off peak. So everything's like less than half price. Nice. It's gonna be it's the summer, so the summers are off peak, so it's like 40. It's like the minimum's 38, I think, and the top is like 40. I'm taking my golf clubs. I've already set it up. Nice. Yeah, one of the golf pro at Trump. He's like, oh, because I'm mates with him. I'm like, so I'm coming up 6th to the 16th. He's like 12th and 13th, bro. Let's go. I'm like, let's go.
You are staying at the Mia Khalifa's brother?
No. So I'm staying further away. Usually I'd stay close to Mia Khalifa, the Burj Khalifa, which is at Dubai Mall. But this time I'm staying probably about half an hour away or 25 minutes away. I'm staying actually on the Palm. So if anyone that's listening knows Dubai, the Palm is like literally that man-made beach that's got like if you look at it from a sky view, it looks like a palm tree. So
when they're trying to build there was like the globe one they were making, but it started sinking.
Yeah, pretty much. So on each palm, like each actual like individual palm leaf of that is there's like rows of hotels.
Yeah.
So I'm staying at the W, which would be sick.
Yeah, nice. There you go.
It'd be fun. But
good.
That is it from us.
That's it.
As always, if you have any questions, concerns, throw them up in the question box that we throw up on usually a Wednesday morning. I'll have to work out when to throw that up next week because that'll be fun with the time difference.
I'll have to do my first international fucking podcast in America
in August. It's gonna be fun.
Fucking watch out. Well, we leave on the Tuesday, get there on. We'll have to do Thursday, and then we'll have to do the following one. I might do two.
Shit, look at you go. I'll be doing two. I'll be doing the Wednesday, both Wednesdays.
Oof. Look at us getting all fancy and shit.
True. We just need to put a coffee there. So that we look like actual, like from How I Met Your Mother, we are international business people. We're
international business. Bag is just full of condoms.
Yeah, just leave a bag on the carousel.
International businessmen.
Yeah, we are very important international business.
Oh fucking hell!
All right. Anyway, that is it from us, guys and girls. Have a great weekend and goodbye.